So, how are you going to access your class and assignments for music technology? You're always going to begin by logging into your eClass portal and clicking on the eClass button. Once you get into eClass, you want to make sure that you click on the waffle and select 2021 S1 Jones, C, Music Tech 6 through 8. Don't be confused if you know that I go by my middle name, which is Heath, which starts with an H, not a C. But in our district system, they identify me by my first name, which is why you see Jones C and not Jones H. Make sure that you click on the thumbtack on the right side of that line so that you can make sure that my class will always appear at the top of your list on your eClass pages. Once you do that, all of your classes should look very similar, where you're going to see the agenda for that day and a link to the Google Classroom. In the agenda, you'll see what our learning targets are for the day and our plan for our activity. Then, across the bottom of that page, you'll see that there's a box for each class. You just click on your class, and that's going to link you and take you directly to our Google Classroom. Once you get to our Google Classroom page, always click on the Classwork tab. This is where most of the action is going to happen. Notice that the Classwork tab is going to be organized by week. And then under each week, you will have assignments that will be added for each day of that week. As we go through the semester, you'll always be able to go back to assignments in previous weeks as we move through. What is our class schedule? First of all, A days are always going to meet on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. So if you're 8A, 6A, or 7A, your connections class is always Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you're in the B day class, B day students will meet on Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Here's the schedule for each grade level. So 8A, you're always going to meet at 6:20 on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. 6B, you're always going to meet at 12:35 to 1:35 on Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays. Same thing for 7th grade. 7th grade meeting time will be 3:05 to 4:05. And just make sure that you understand if you're an A day or a B day so that you're attending not only at the correct time, but on the correct day. The secrets to success in my class are really pretty simple. First of all, you've got to be willing to explore. We're going to be looking at a lot of different technology tools and apps, and don't be afraid to try things out. Click buttons, create sounds, and see what happens. The nature of many of our assignments will be experimenting, where I'll show you how to use a tool, and your assignment is going to be to just experiment, to see what happens. Try different things, see what sounds that you can create. As you experiment and try out the tools, you kind of get to decide which right answer you want to have. The thing that's really important is don't be afraid to make mistakes. A lot of students will start my music technology class and be very critical of the music that they're making and feel like it just doesn't sound very good. I always tell students that anybody that you listen to on Spotify or the radio that you really liked them because one day they decided that they wanted to start creating music. And when they started creating music, it sounded really bad. But they kept coming back and working at it and trying again and exploring and experimenting. And then suddenly they didn't sound too bad. And then they were pretty good. And then before you know it, because they continued to experiment and explore and not be afraid of making mistakes, they got to be good enough where other people wanted to listen and hear them. So in order to learn how to create really good sounding music, you're going to have to make a lot of bad sounding music first. And that is okay. Don't be afraid to make the mistakes because that's a very important part of the learning process. Along with not being afraid to make mistakes, just keep trying. Keep doing it. Don't give up. If you complete the assignments, if you have the effort to create the sounds, you're not going to be graded so much on the quality of your product, but you're going to be graded on the processes that you're going through. So even though the final product you create might not sound really good, if you've followed the directions, if you've used the tool in the way that we're showing you to use it, you're going to be successful. And again, the final goal of this class is to move you into the area of being a music producer, of creating music, creating sounds. So rather than having to solve a problem or answer a question that has one definitive right answer, your goal really is to just create. Create the music that you like, create the sounds that you want to create. And as we do this, hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun learning how to make some music and rocking out together. If you have other questions that you would like for me to answer, I've created a Google form that you can use to submit questions to me, and I'll respond to those questions to you as soon as I possibly can. There's a link in the chat box that we discussed today, but I'll also be sending that link home to parents that you can access that way also. I also want to let our 6th grade students know that band, choir, and orchestra is still accepting 6th graders to join those programs. If you're interested in joining those programs, there is a link on the McConnell Middle School webpage that you can follow to get information about signing up for those classes. If you're wondering how this is going to happen in a remote digital atmosphere, don't worry. They have a plan, and they're going to be able to get you started in those music programs. And before you know it, we will be back in person again, and you'll really begin to take off in those band, orchestra, and choir programs. So don't let that discourage you from joining now. If you think that this is something that you might want to be involved in the future, 6th grade is the time to sign up for it. I know that me and the other Connections teachers and all the teachers here at McConnell Middle School are really excited, and we know it's going to be a great year. We've been working really hard to have a good experience for the teachers and hopefully to make things a little easier for parents to manage also. There's going to be times that it's going to get frustrating. There's going to be times that you're going to have questions, but that's okay. Just hang in there. If you run into a problem or have a question, just ask. Reach out to a teacher, let us know, because we're here to help. Also, just be careful. The best thing that we can do to get us all back together sooner rather than later is to follow all of those guidelines that we've gotten from our local leaders about avoiding the virus. Try not to touch your face if you haven't washed your hands. Wear your mask anytime that you're outside and around other people, not just for yourself, but also for others. Wash your hands as often as possible. Keep your hands clean, so if you do touch your face, you're going to be less likely to spread germs that way also. None of you have actually been in the school building since March, and if you're like me, you developed a new sleep pattern where you were probably staying up way too late and then sleeping in even later. We're going to be on a new regular schedule for school in this digital environment, so make sure that you take the time to adjust your schedule at home, get to bed so that you wake up rested and ready to go for the school day. I can't wait to see you when we start next Wednesday. I hope you enjoy your last weekend of summer vacation, and we're going to be making music together soon. Bye.